dare enter, a place forgotten by time, where shadows breathe, and the dead still remember. Sit, watch, and do not look away.
It started in North Carolina. Not in some remote cabin or deep woods, but in a quiet, normal suburb. Streets named after trees. Lawns mowed within regulation length. Porch lights on timers. The kind of place that felt safe. Predictable. Boring, even. I was living alone for the first time. A modest rental house just outside Durham. 2 bedrooms. Old brick. Fenced backyard. I was 25. Fresh out of a long, messy breakup. Starting over. I didn't think much of the package at first. No return address. No label. Just a small brown box sitting on my front porch when I got home from work. I opened it in the kitchen, still in my jacket. Inside, a single Polaroid photo. Grainy. Blurry. Me. Sleeping. In my bed. That's when I knew something was wrong. I didn't call the cops. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't want to feel stupid. Maybe I thought it was some sick joke, my ex maybe, or a friend trying to wake me up. But that night, I locked every window. Triple-checked the back door. I even dragged a chair under the front doorknob like I'd seen in movies. Still didn't sleep. Every sound became a threat. Pipe shifting, footsteps, wind against the shutters, breathing, the fridge humming, a voice. My eyes refused to stay shut. At 3:12 a.m., I heard the knock. Soft. Measured. From the backyard door, I crept into the hallway barefoot, heart in my throat. The knock came again, a little louder, then silence. I turned on the porch light. Nobody. Just the empty backyard, lit up in dim yellow. And then I saw it. On the glass, smudged but clear. A handprint. Pressed from the outside. Small. And right beneath it, in the condensation. Still watching. I didn't go back to sleep. I sat in the hallway with a kitchen knife and a flashlight, listening. Every minute felt like an hour. I texted a few friends, but nobody answered. It was late. I didn't want to call 911 unless I saw someone. But part of me knew someone had already been inside. The next morning, I checked the backyard. No prints, no sign of forced entry. Just the handprint still fading from the glass, like it had burned its shape into the door. I took the photo to work. My coworker Devin stared at it for a while, then said something that stuck with me. "You don't look scared in it." "What do you mean?" "I mean, you look calm, like you're dreaming, but your mouth's open. That's not normal, right?" I didn't know. I didn't want to know. I threw the photo in the office shredder when nobody was watching. That night, the doorbell rang at 2:24 a.m. I didn't move. Just sat in bed, frozen, holding my phone like it could protect me. No knock. No footsteps. Just one ring, long and sharp, and then nothing. When I finally worked up the nerve to check the porch the next morning, I found another box. Same as before. No markings. Just a Polaroid inside. This time it was me, again, but in the shower. Naked. Blurry. The angle came from the window above the bathtub, which was always shut. I ran to the bathroom. The window was open. Just a crack. But enough. Enough for someone to see. Enough for someone to reach in. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stood there, wrapped in a towel, staring at the steam-streaked window with that cold, crawling feeling in my stomach. Like something had touched me, and I didn't even know it. I bought cameras that afternoon. Doorbell, backyard, living room, all connected to my phone. I set them up before dark, tested them twice, and kept the app open all night. At 3:03 a.m., the backyard camera pinged. Motion detected. I opened the feed. There in the backyard, barely visible through the fog, was someone standing still. Not moving. Not turning. Just facing the house. Watching. I didn't sleep. I watched the camera. The figure didn't move for almost 10 minutes. Just stood there, head slightly tilted, like it was listening to something. Or someone. Then it walked toward the house. Slow. Careful. And disappeared behind the edge of the frame. I jumped up and ran to the window. Nothing. But the backyard floodlight flicked on a second later. Triggered by motion. I waited for the sound of footsteps, a knock, the creak of the fence. Nothing came. I stayed there until the sun rose, eyes wide, heart hollow. That morning, I showed the footage to the police. They watched in silence. Didn't say much. Just took down a report and said, "Could be a prank, could be a prowler. If it escalates, call us." If it escalates. As if it hadn't already. As if someone watching you in the shower was an escalation. As if sending photos of you sleeping wasn't enough. I went back to work, but I couldn't focus. Every face on the street made me nervous. Every man who passed too close, every stranger who looked too long. Was it him? Had I seen him already? At home, I kept the blinds shut, moved a dresser in front of the back door, left the lights on all night. It didn't help. At 4:12 a.m., the living room camera caught it. Motion. Not outside. Inside. Just for 1 second, a shadow moved across the frame. Quick. Low. Almost like someone crawling. But the doors were locked. The windows were shut. The alarms didn't trip. I rewound the footage over and over again, frame by frame. And there it was. A hand. Just the edge of it. Sliding out of view. Too pale. Too thin. It looked like it was reaching for something. Or someone. Me. I checked the locks again. Every one was still latched. Every window sealed. No broken glass. No signs of forced entry. But I couldn't shake it. That hand. That moment. That presence. It had been in my house. I started pulling apart the walls. The attic. The basement. Every crawl space. Every air vent. I even climbed onto the roof and checked the vents myself. Nothing. No signs. But the feeling never left. That night, I stayed in the hallway with the lights on, watching every door. Around 2:30 a.m., I heard it again. From the bathroom. A soft shuffle. Like bare feet on tile. I moved slowly, hatchet in one hand, phone in the other. Pushed the door open. Nothing. But the mirror was fogged. Like someone had just stepped out of a hot shower. I hadn't used the bathroom all night. And in the center of the mirror, drawn in the steam, one word. Soon. I stood frozen, trying not to breathe. Then my phone buzzed. A text. From an unknown number. No name. No thread. Just one image. A photo of me. Standing in front of the mirror. Taken from behind. But I was alone in the room. Wasn't I? I spun around. No one there. But the closet door in the hallway was cracked open. It hadn't been. I inched toward it, every step heavy, stomach twisting. Inside, just coats. A few boxes. And something else. A Polaroid camera. Still warm. Still clicking. The next photo slid out. And in it, my face. As I looked down at the photo. Smiling. I called the cops again. This time, they actually came. 2 officers, one older, one younger. The older guy seemed skeptical from the start, but the younger one took notes, asked questions, even checked the closet himself. They found the camera. They bagged it. Said they'd look into it. But I could tell they didn't believe me. Maybe a prank, the older cop said. Could be a friend messing around. I didn't have friends. Not here. Not anymore. After they left, I tried to sleep. I dragged the dresser in front of the bedroom door, piled chairs against it, turned on every light. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, clutching the hatchet under the blanket. Around 4:12 a.m., I heard a noise. Not from inside the house. From under it. Like someone crawling through the dirt beneath the floorboards. I held my breath. The sound circled the room, slow, dragging. Then it stopped. And a light bulb in the ceiling burst. Glass rained down onto the bed. I sat up, bleeding, shaking. And then I saw it. Carved into the wall just above the headboard. A single word. Welcome. But I hadn't slept. Hadn't closed my eyes. Not even for a second. So how the hell did they get in? How the hell did they do this? I packed a bag that morning. Didn't matter where I went, just away. Away from the house. Away from the sound under the floor. Away from the word carved above my head. But when I opened the door to leave, there was a package on the porch. No label. No return address. Just brown paper tied with twine. I didn't want to touch it. Didn't want to know. But of course I did. Inside? Photos. Hundreds of them. Me walking to the store. Me sitting in the window. Me asleep in bed. And one more. Just one. Tucked at the bottom. A Polaroid. Me. Standing on the porch. Right now. In the photo, I was looking down at the box in my hands. Same clothes. Same time of day. Same clouds in the sky. But from the angle, the shot had been taken from across the street. I looked up, scanning the houses. Windows, curtains, blinds. No movement. No sign. But I felt it. Eyes on me. Breathing. Watching. Like the photo had been taken a second before I opened it. Like they were still holding the camera. I left the box on the porch, slammed the door shut, and locked every bolt I had. But it didn't matter. Because that night, I found another Polaroid, taped to my bathroom mirror. Same handwriting on the back. Same word, closer. I slept in the closet that night. I didn't plan to. I just couldn't find anywhere else that felt safe. I curled up between old jackets and laundry baskets, hatchet in my hand, flashlight tucked into my chest, and waited for the sun. But sleep didn't come. Because just after 3 a.m. I heard it. A voice. Soft. Just outside the closet door. Not yelling. Not even whispering. Just breathing words into the dark. You look peaceful when you sleep. I froze. Not a dream. Not a thought. The voice was real. The voice was right there. I clenched the hatchet tight and held my breath. Then, a second voice. Further away. Still mine. Still soft. I miss your voice. I didn't know which direction it came from. The hallway? The attic? Inside the walls? I stayed in that closet until the sun rose. Didn't move. Didn't blink. Didn't breathe louder than I had to. And when I finally stepped out, the house was quiet, but every mirror had been covered with newspaper. Taped perfectly. Edges trimmed. Except for one. The bathroom mirror. On it just one word written in black marker. Listen. I tore the word off the mirror. Not the whole paper, just the part where it said listen. Underneath, my reflection stared back. Same face. Same eyes. But then, it blinked. Wrong. Half a second too slow. I stepped back, heart pounding. The reflection stayed where it was. Still looking at me. Still is smiling. I covered it again. This time with tape, cardboard, towels, anything I could find. Because I knew now. He was watching through it. Every night. Maybe every morning too. The cameras, the whispers, the way he knew what I looked like when I slept. He wasn't just breaking in. He was studying, and I had left the mirror uncovered. I don't know why I thought that would stop him, but something about that one word, listen, felt like a warning. Or a challenge. Or maybe an invitation. Around midnight, I heard footsteps again. But this time, they weren't in the hallway. They were above me. In the attic. Right over my bed. I didn't sleep there anymore, but that night, I almost forgot. I stood in the hallway with the flashlight pointed at the ceiling hatch. The string was moving. Just slightly. Like something had just gone up. Or was about to come down. Then, softly. 3 knocks from inside the attic. Measured. Precise. Like someone who had all the time in the world. I backed away from the hatch. Slow. Careful. Each creak of the floor felt louder than the last. 3 knocks from above, and then a whisper. Right beside my ear. But no one was there. No windows open. No breeze. Just that voice, low and deliberate. I know what you did. I nearly dropped the flashlight. Because those weren't his words. They were mine. From a voicemail I'd left my ex 2 years ago. A message I deleted. He'd recorded it. He'd memorized it. He was playing me back to myself. I ran to the fuse box and cut the power. Darkness swallowed the hallway. But at least now the attic camera wouldn't see. If there was a camera, if there was only one, I didn't sleep. I didn't sit. I just waited in the kitchen, back to the wall, flashlight pointed at the hallway like a weapon. And then, around 2:30 a.m., the attic string lowered itself. Slow. Smooth. Controlled. Not falling. Offered. And dangling from the bottom? A photograph. Me. Sleeping. That same photo again. But now with a new message written across the top. Turn around. I didn't. I couldn't. I just dropped the flashlight and ran. Outside. Barefoot. Into the snow. But the moment I crossed the yard, all the house lights came back on. By themselves. The curtains rose. And in every window I saw him. Dozens of him. Every frame, a new pose. Smiling. Pointing. Waiting. I ran to the neighbors. Didn't knock. Didn't explain. Just pounded on the door, screaming. Lights came on. A man answered, groggy and confused. But when he saw my face, the blood, the terror, he let me in. Locked the door behind me. I called the cops. Shaking so bad I could barely hold the phone. They came fast. Faster than I expected. 4 cars. Guns drawn. They stormed the house. Flashlights. Shouts. But when they searched the attic, empty. No bedroll. No food. No photos. Nothing. They said there was dust on everything. Said no one had been up there in years. They asked if I'd taken anything, touched anything. I said no. They didn't believe me. They took my statement. Told me to get some rest. That they'd follow up. That I was probably just tired. They left. And I stood in my driveway, watching the attic window. No one there. But the light was on. Even though the fuse was still cut. I moved out that night. Never went back. Never sold the place. Let it rot. But sometimes, when I check Google Maps, the house still updates. New images. New angles. And in the top window, there's always a shape. Just tall enough to duck behind the curtain. The police never called again. The neighbor moved 6 months later. And I started sleeping with the lights on. Even now, 2 states away, I get the feeling. When I shower. When I sleep. When I check the locks and find one unlatched. Like someone's still watching. Still waiting. Still wearing my voice. The last message I ever got from a blocked number? Just 3 words. Whispered. Barely audible. Found you again.
The tale is over, but the darkness remains. Subscribe, or stay forever, in the silence between screams.